Hey, hey, hey. How are you?
Hey.
How's everybody doing? Welcome to the Service Alliance Group podcast.
Each week you've been doing that. Hey. And then last week I got tripped up on
I
it.
just did it to mess you up because of last week.
Hey. Wow.
I got to keep you on your toes, Jason.
Yeah, I got sandals on right now, so that's easier to do with, so or slides as the kids say.
Yeah. All right. Well, this week we're talking about how a true CEO would run an appliance repair company.
Well, there you go. This should be interesting how neither one of us are appliance repair owners. I mean, we're business owners though. So the good thing is, I think you could put in here.
I think we lost you, Jason. Jason's froze up. All right. Well, until he gets back, you just got me. So today, we're talking about how a true CEO would run an appliance repair company. And if it wasn't you, here's how they'd run it. Here's Jason. All right. I don't know what happened. And you're muted. Well, until he's back, most appliance repair owners start as technicians. They're great with tools, but they're not trained as CEOs. And the trap is they're running a business like a job. And if that's
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Hey, there we go. I have a cable that has a very slight short in it, and it goes right into my laptop. And if you just barely touch that, sometimes it just goes, I don't want to work.
Yeah.
But I'm here. Yeah.
Awesome. Glad to have you.
Hey, it's
glad to have you watching, Jason.
Good to be back. Good to be back. I just flew in and boy, are my arms tired. Oy vey.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, the trap is you're running your business like a job, constant money problems, no delegation, and no freedom.
True.
So today's theme, we're talking about what it's like, what it looks like if a real entrepreneur and CEO stepped in and ran your company for you.
Yeah, I was mentioning you got this dubbed. I know you guys head towards the appliance repair world, but really, like the book I was talking about before, HVAC Spells Wealth, it's really how a true CEO would run a service repair company, an electrical repair company, a heating and air repair company. It all applies. So this is for everybody.
Yes.
Got a roofing company.
Absolutely.
Hey, how a true CEO would run a roofing company. And boy, I've got a CEO of a roofing company locally that I think would be great for this podcast to come on, and I'm going to get you two connected. Let me write that down. He's got a couple of incredible books. His name is Terry Gwaltney. He owns Integrity Roofing locally. And yeah, I've got a couple of his books over here. I'll get you two connected. That'd be a good one.
All right. Well, I'm going to pray us in and we'll get this thing started. All right, Lord, give us the wisdom to be good stewards of our business, learn to be CEOs and have more freedom and be aligned with the way you would run our businesses, and allow us to get out there and just do things in a biblical way and run our businesses as great stewards of the business that you have provided us and the customers that you have brought to us. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. So I guess since you did the prayer, I'm doing the Bible verse.
You do the verse. You said surprise you.
True. He always asked me beforehand, do you want to do the prayer or the Bible verse? And I'm like, surprise me. And yeah, it keeps me on your toes that way. So like you said, stay on your toes. I'm going to go with Exodus 18, 21, and 22. So Moses's father-in-law, say that 5 times fast. Moses's father-in-law says, appoint capable people to lead smaller groups so you don't burn out. So for me, this says delegation isn't optional, it's biblical. So find good people. I don't want to say to run your business, but to appoint, to put in those spots that are better than you. Always hire people who are better than you. Who, if you're weak in an area, say you're weak in marketing, hire somebody that knows marketing well. If you're weak in customer service, hire somebody who knows customer service very well, and put those people in charge of that one little thing. It's like with our business, how a true CEO would run a I don't say answering service because Shayna will snap on that one, but a virtual receptionist company, right? Shayna has done a great job of putting, we have a client success manager and a team success manager. We call them coaches, team success coach and client success coach in place. And they kind of run the floor. And then Shayna oversees and Austin oversees certain parts. And so it works out great. So delegation isn't optional. It's biblical.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There you go. That's all I got to say about
that. So let's talk about the technician trap. I mentioned before, most people start out as technicians and they're not trained as CEOs. They start out as great technicians, working for somebody else. And they're like, hey, why should I do this for this guy when I can go off and do it, for myself? And then they realized very quickly, oh, there's no stability here, or I have to build the stability.
Yep.
And they have no clue what it really takes to run a business. So they've never learned how to be a true CEO of a company. Being a technician in any industry, I don't care what it was, being a business owner is a completely different thing. Two totally different animals. Just because you know how to fix something doesn't mean you're a business owner.
No.
And
1000%.
Yeah. And I have learned that the hard way. I thought I was an excellent collision technician. And then I got into the office. And then I started running my own shops and became a partner in some shops and multiple shops, and found out very quickly I had a lot to learn.
Yeah.
But since I wasn't the only one, I actually had the support, infrastructure there to back me up and teach me what I needed to know. So it was a massive learning curve. And I very quickly realized that no matter how much I knew about how to fix something, I had to relearn an entirely new thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, like you said, you became the boss because you're good at fixing stuff, but being a tech doesn't make you the CEO.
Yeah. And the biggest thing that I had to learn was how to manage people.
Yeah.
That was the number one thing I had to learn. It wasn't doing the books. It wasn't doing, managing orders and things like that. It was managing people.
Yep.
And that was probably the hardest thing to learn.
As Marcus Lamona says, people, processes, and product. Yeah, the three P's.
In that order.
People, processes, product. I would almost say you're going to have the processes before the people. I mean, you can have the people, but if you have the process first, then it's easier to manage the people, right?
The people help you create those processes.
True.
If you don't have processes, they can help you create them and figure that out. So, I'm not opposed to having people before the processes.
Or you have the Service Alliance group who already has the process in place if you're a mastermind member.
Yes. So a lot of techs think if I work harder, I'll make more money.
Yeah.
And wow.
No.
It never works that way. Ever.
You just get busier, broke, and tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're stuck in the van and you don't trust others to do the work.
Yep. No, been there, done that.
Yeah. And when you do that, you get no real growth. You're always capped by your own personal hours. You've got only so much to scale, right? And you're constantly stressed with money problems. You're busy, but you're broke. And I remember being busy and broke a lot until you figure it out. You basically built a job for yourself and not a business, and you're enslaved by it. It holds you by the balls and just doesn't let go. And it's more or less you don't want to let it go because you think you've built something when realistically you've built a prison for yourself. So how does a true CEO think? Let's talk about that for a little bit. Morning, Dr. Dan. He says he can testify to that. So,
well, where do you want your company to be in 3 to 5 years? More techs, bigger service area, a reputation that sells itself. If your company can't run without you, it's not a business. Every repeatable process needs a SOP. Dispatching, invoicing, follow-ups, parts ordering, pricing. I mean, you've got an SOP for everything. Everything. It just makes everything run smoother when you do. Accountability, culture. The CEOs measure results, not effort. So ask yourself this: was this job done profitably and on time? Not did the tech sweat enough? If you're trying to get more sweat equity out of your techs, then you're thinking the wrong way. We want them to be there for the long run. We want them. It's about leadership versus management. You want to inspire your team, hold them accountable, not the other way around, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, how many of you out there that are listening or watching this later, how many of you are in this trap right now or feel like you're in this trap right now and you just can't figure it out? And you're struggling with, well, I've hired a bunch of people. I can't find techs. I can tell you right now, if you can't find techs in this day and age, I think you're using that as a crutch. There are trainable people. There are people that do know what they're doing. They're just working for someone else. And that's why you can't find them. You need to attract them to your company.
Yeah.
And you need to make them want to quit working for someone else and come to work for you. And the only way you're going to do that is to present your company as the one that everyone wants to work for. So
totally agree.
And you need to, delegation is such a huge thing. Once I started hiring people. When I first started hiring people, I was like, okay, I need a thing done. And I would hire them to do that thing. And then I started realizing, you know what? I need someone to replace pieces of me. And once I started replacing pieces of me, things started to get better.
Yeah.
And I was able to step back a little and I could see more clearly. I wasn't in the weeds. I wasn't face down in the muck, trying to, clear the garbage away, trying to do everything, trying to manage all the people.
Yeah.
Or all the customer stuff that I had to do just to be able to pay the bills. And once I stepped back and I knew this guy's handling this girl is handling this, and I don't have to really worry about that much of it. They took 80% of that off my plate. All I have to do now is oversee and manage them instead of managing 100% of it. I'm managing 20% of it.
Dr. Dan's got a good one. It may take a long time, but it's better to train them. I think give me someone with great customer service skills. I can teach them how. I totally agree. I actually took a lot of guys and a couple gals who were not even in the electrical world. I met them. They were working at, different places in customer service and other aspects. One kid came from the grocery store, and I brought him in and trained him under my wing. Another guy I met at church. He did a lot of sound stuff, and he was very technical, and he got along with people really well. And so I brought him in, and I think about all the different apprentices that I had over the years doing electrical work, and how many I trained that did not have any electrical aspect skills whatsoever. And it was just they were really good with people, and that is a good part of the battle. I agree with you, Dan.
I think it's easier to find someone who's good with people than it is to find someone that's super skilled in what you do, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to find a mini me that you can just have them step in. That's a unicorn. It's rare. But if you find someone good with people, like Jason said, you cannot teach someone easily to be good with people. That is a skill or a personality trait.
Yeah.
That is something that you cannot teach. Now, I've seen people who are great with people, like super great with people, but when it comes to teaching them how to do things,
Yeah.
they are dumber than a box of rocks. And it's like trying to teach a bird how to swim or a fish how to fly, right?
Yeah.
You need to find the right place for the right person. And if you find someone with people skills, 90% of the time they're teachable, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. You started talking about it a while ago. What am I doing that someone else could do 80% as well? Social media is a great example. I talk to so many guys in the service world that they're still doing their social media instead of going out and doing what they do best. And we've got tools that help us with that. But still, even if it's 1 to 3 hours a week that you're getting it down to managing your social media, who do you know that you could pay $15 an hour to do that for you, so you can go ahead and go do your $300 an hour, $500 an hour type of CEO work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So think about that one. Techs handle service calls. Your dispatchers, your admin, they schedule, follow up, customer communication. Your bookkeeper, accountants, they do money tracking. Your CEO, as CEO, you should be focusing on the growth of the company. You should be focusing on the training of the people in your company, different partnerships that you're working with, even your vendors. I totally consider my vendors partners in my business. I would treat them as good, if not better sometimes, than my technicians, because I knew, hey, if I was going to be short this month, I'm going to have a conversation with him. I need your help. If you can give me an extra day or two to pay my bill. We were fortunate that I can't even remember in the 20, 30 years that we had an account with our main supplier that we ever had to have that happen. So we had a great relationship with our main vendor. He started, we were account number 502, and he started with account 501. So we were his second customer when he opened up many, many years ago. So treat your vendors very like they are your partners, because they are a huge part of your business. And then also you should be focused on leadership. So CEOs focus on growth, training, partnerships, leadership. That's 4 huge aspects of your business. There's other things, but I think that's a 4 main parts.
Well, and leadership automatically comes at the forefront of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's you can't do any of the rest without being a leader.
Well, you can't say leadership without leading, or
exactly
lead.
Something like that. All right,
then it would be leadershiping. And
I mean, delegation is scary. There's fear of mistakes and costs, but not delegating costs you way more in missed growth. And if you've never gone through this, you're never going to understand it. Mm-hmm. Once you start going through it, then things will start clicking, and you're like, wow, I never thought this would work as well as it does. but it works really well. And look at any successful company that has grown or scaled. This is what they do. This is what every single one of them have in common. And it's not that hard to figure out. It's a lot of work, but it's not hard to figure out.
Mhm.
It's a simple principle. They've been doing it since when? It's recorded in the Bible. We know they were doing it back then. So, I mean, thousands and thousands of years they've been knowing this concept as truth, and it works.
I was gonna say, what about cavemen? I mean, I think they delegated. They drugged the woman by the hair, and they went and got the woolly mammoth and took it to the woman. Here, woman, cook.
I'm waiting for Shayna to come in and smack you upside the head.
We were at a motorcycle rally, and I got to be careful with this one. I was given a patch to give to Shayna, and the guy that gave it to me, he goes, "If she wears it, great. I'll say something, but don't tell her who gave it to her. It's a friend of ours." And it was a lady's patch that has a sandwich on it. I'm like, oh boy, this could be trouble.
Nice.
All right, well, let's talk about money management. The CEO mindset versus the technician mindset. A technician mindset is that as long as there's money in the bank, we're good. I got money to, go out and eat lunch or take my woman out to a movie or something like that. The CEO mindset, though, is money managed, forecasted, and intentional. So having a cash flow forecast of your 30, 60, 90 days out. That profit reserves, like the Profit First style. Who's the guy that wrote the Profit First book?
Mike Michalowicz.
Mike Michalowicz, yeah. He's wrote a couple others that are similar to that. But if you don't know the Profit First style, it's basically taking a certain percentage out of every invoice or taking all of your service agreement money and putting it in a totally separate bank that has nothing to do with the bank that you do everyday business in. That's the simple aspect. And making that money as hard to reach as possible. Don't buy checks. Don't literally make it as hard as possible. Don't make it easy to access via the internet. Literally, you have to walk in there and write a check at that point from them and say, I need to take money out to be able to take money out of it. And you'll see that bank account just grow and grow and grow and grow. So Profit First, Mike Michalowicz, good book.
Yeah, we implement Profit First. It's great.
Yeah. Reinvesting in marketing, hiring, tools that produce the ROI. That could be an interesting one to talk about. Tools that produce ROI. What is a tool, Mike, that you bought that you said, I need this tool to help me run my business, and this tool is going to make me money? And if that's you listening, what's a tool as a technician that you bought that said, I'm going to buy this and it's going to make me money? And maybe it did make you money. Maybe it didn't make you money. What's one tool you could say that you did, Mike?
Oh, geez, I could name thousands.
Well, let's name one that didn't make you money. Let's say I bought this tool thinking it would make me money, and it didn't make me squat.
Oh,
While you're thinking, I'll say, because
Go ahead.
A Megger. So a megometer is one that you test the insulation of a wire. Simple phrasing. So like if you have a lightning strike or you have a fire in a house or there's water damage, you could take this Megger, you have to unplug, make sure light bulbs are pulled out and everything. And you test, it sends electricity back through this wire, and you test the quality of the insulation. I thought, man, it was several $100s for this Megger megometer. And I thought, man, this thing is awesome. I'm going to, charge insurance companies after fires, after lightning strikes. I bet I used it twice, and that was it. Like, insurance companies didn't want to pay to have the insulation tested. I mean, we were charging quite a bit of money to do it. And I even brought the price down. Never made me money. And I still have that stupid megometer. I've been trying to sell it on Facebook. So if you're looking for a megometer that's in really good shape, barely used, get a hold of me.
It won't make you money.
Maybe you found a way to make a Megger give you money.
I mean, I whenever I'm looking at a software tool, that's how I evaluate software tools now.
Yeah.
Will this number one, make things easier for me
Yeah.
and faster? Will it improve the efficiency of all involved that use it? And will it make me money? How
Yeah.
will this make me money? If it cannot answer any of those right up front, I'm not going to consider it.
Yeah.
It has to be a very viable thing. You know, even even if it did one or the other, can it make me money? But is it hard to use?
Hmm.
Then you lose in efficiencies, you lose in training, you lose in just frustrations. And maybe like a CRM.
Yeah.
How can a CRM help you make money?
I was just literally sitting there thinking that because with us, earlier in the year before I switched everything to my office manager, I was using Loomly and Chirp and Constant Contact. And I mean, I could name off probably 7 or 8 different softwares that we were spending literally thousands a year, if not tens of thousands a year on. And I was able to pull that all into one software that cost me a few $100 a month. Huge game changer, and it saves me so much time. So I like where you're going
It's
there with
one
software.
system to learn.
Yeah.
Rather than a hodgepodge of different systems. So,
And if you like it, check it out. I will put that in the, if you just look right here, myofficehelp.com/mom, you can check that software out.
waiting for you to come out with something with the DAD acronym.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. So we know about the tech mindset.
I put the wrong one.
What about the CEO mindset? Are you reinvesting profits to build a company that can run without you? And what would that look like if you had a company that could run 100% without you, or even 80% without you?
Yeah.
How much would that change your life? How big of a game changer would that be? To make the same amount of money you make now and not be out there, busting your knuckles. I can tell you right now, it is such a good feeling when you get to that point. And it's not without its problems. Don't get me wrong. You still have to be there, and you still have to lead. You still have to have the oversight, and you still have to do training, but you're doing it at a much higher level. You're able to look down and see more of the entire business. And I've got all of my employees. I get updates every single day on exactly what they're doing, who they did it for. And I don't reply to them. When they give me the updates, I don't reply to them. I just want to know what's going on, because when I get involved and have a customer ask me what's going on with this, I'm informed. Right. But I have this overall umbrella over the top of everything that I can see into my own business. And we have a lot of reports and KPIs and things like that for each one of our departments that I can see if they're hitting the numbers. I can see if they're doing, I can see if I have to get involved in a certain area. Otherwise, it runs.
Yeah.
And it gives me the freedom to step back and work on the strategic end of the business. And I don't have that feast or famine cycle anymore. I can take care of my customers better. And
it's easier to correct when things go wrong too, because you're not such a huge sway off track. You're just making little corrections along the way.
Yeah. And if you do need to replace somebody, it's easier to plug somebody in. It's not easy, but it's easier, because you know that position is outlined in your SOPs, and it fast tracks everything. So accountability systems are important. when you're scaling. A CEO is definitely going to put all those in the KPIs, like I said, calls booked, your jobs completed, average ticket size, your revenue per tech, reviews per tech. Everyone has to have a clear number that they own and that they're accountable for, and it's built in. And that's how you need to run a business as a CEO. And for example, your dispatcher accountable for booking percentages and the tech accountable for revenue and reviews. Have you ever thought that your dispatcher, your CSR, has to be accountable for the percentage of calls that they actually book?
Yeah.
There's so many out there that, I'm getting so many calls, and the amount of calls is the KPI, not the percentage that they converted on the phone into a bookable job. And then you need to also make sure your techs just aren't, what percentage of walks are they taking to where they're just collecting the service fee? That also has to be a KPI. You want that to be minimal as possible, right? People don't look at those types of numbers in most cases. They're just looking at volume and only volume, but they're looking at it in the wrong way. It's all about the volume, but it's also in the percentage of conversions that happen on each end. And when you're dealing with phones and a technician, you've got two different KPI percentages that you need to look at. So if you're late, disorganized, skipping reports, don't expect another team member to do it either. This is something that you need to do. So our final thing, the freedom factor. That's what all this leads up to, right? What kind of end goal are you looking at as a CEO that you shouldn't be just interested in more jobs? Like I said, it's freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to begin with the end in mind. That's one of the things. And I'm going to be going into this much, much deeper at PSA. Freedom of time is number one. You're not trapped in your service calls. You're not trapped on the phone. That's going to help allow you to have freedom of money. It might be a strain when you first start doing this. There's going to be a money strain, especially if you're not used to it and you haven't figured out how to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's temporary. And then once you get it figured out and it starts churning and rolling good and smooths out, you're going to make more money. And then you're going to have freedom of impact. You're going to create jobs. You're creating opportunities in your area, and you're creating more stability for your team. And the more stable your team is, the more stable your business is, the more people will want to work for you, because that's what they're looking for. Who wants to work for a company who can't pay their techs for a week or two, or they're always behind, or they're consistently so up and down that they can't have a stable income for any technician? You think these technicians in this industry don't talk to each other in some way or another? They're talking. Yeah. People know each other. You could hire a new tech, and your previous tech, he's bad mouthing the hell out of you. So
that never happens.
Yeah. You want to make sure that you're the place that everyone wants to work.
Before we leave, I wanted to go ahead and throw this book out there. I mentioned it earlier, but the more and more we talk about what we're talking about, it's like, I think this would be a good one to throw out there. So I put it in the comments there as well, but it's called Culture Near: Building a Team That Beats the Odds by Terry Gwaltney. You can go to terrygwaltney.com, I believe is his website. But it's a great book on leadership and how you can attract top talent, the secret to producing excellent customer service on a consistent basis, and a whole lot more on leadership. He started a thing called Man Camp, I think it was, here locally, and it's just become a really good thing. So anyway, check out Terry Gwaltney. Good guy.
Yeah, another good one. Speaking of PSA, Tom Howard, the VP of Service Titan, is going to be the keynote.
Oh, cool.
And he's got a book called Fetching Millions. The secret from a successful trade service business owner. This guy has started and sold multi-million and billion-dollar companies.
Yeah.
And he's got this book that recently came out, and I'm not all the way through it, but it's pretty good. But he talks about all these systems and what it takes to build a company. And he's the type of guy that builds a company as a CEO, not a technician. So if you're looking for insights, this would be a really good book too.
Cool.
All right. So what's the challenge this week? We should throw out a challenge.
Pick one task to delegate, even if it scares the crap out of you. Implement one accountability measure. Why stumble on that one? KPI, scorecard, weekly review. And then just a little reminder, freedom requires systems, discipline, and courage to let go. You got a mastermind coming up soon, don't you? September 20th?
We do. September 20th, right before PSA.
Does it way down there?
I'm going to talk about expanding your service area the right way.
Yeah. There you go.
This is a good way that you could expand your business and hire a second or third tech.
Yeah.
So this is how you can start scaling your business. So servicealliancegroup.com. If you're an all access member, you'll have access to the next mastermind on Saturday morning, the 20th. And if you like the content, what do they got to do, Jason?
Well, they got to pay the fee, but I'm going to give you some closing encouragement to help you with paying the fee. So as we close out today, the technician thinking keeps you small, broken, exhausted. CEO thinking builds systems, delegation, and accountability, and that will equal real freedom. So step into that CEO role that God is calling you to. Build the business that works for you, not the one that you're trapped in. Now, if you like that and all the rest of the content, then pay the fee, which is simply free. All you got to do is just like, subscribe, and share Service Alliance Group, Appliance Marketing Pros, and My Office Help on your favorite social media platform. It's that easy.
That was a great way to end it.
There you go.
All right. You guys have a great week. Start scaling. Start thinking about how to think more like a CEO instead of a technician. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Morning Grind podcast by Service Alliance Group. Subscribe to our channel and make sure you visit our website at servicealliancegroup.com for appliance repair business resources.